From inside the Pushcar Center, our coverage continues. The signing class of 2014. You take a look, and the most recent additions include quarterback William Crest and offensive lineman Amani Brown from Morgantown High School. And the full list available for you on the website here at WVUsports.com. Along with Dale Wolfley, we're now joined by WVU assistant Lonnie Galloway. Good early afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You're pretty much chilled out today. I haven't seen you jumpy or nervous. You all good?
I'm good now.
All the hate. What do you mean you're good now?
Facts came in.
All right. William Crest was your guy.
Yep.
Not the first time you went into Dunbar. You went in there and took a kid out by the name of Tavon Austin. I kind of remember him coming through the program here a little bit.
Pretty good player we had.
Were you nervous at all today about Crest? What was it? Was there a scheduled time that he was going to go? Or?
Not really nervous. I mean, he's been solid from day one. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where, they did it at a church, so I'm sure there was some praying and a little church service going on. So it was good.
You felt confident with it. How does William Crest become a Mountaineer? In other words, he committed early in this process. What was it early on that attracted him to West Virginia? How long ago did you guys know about William Crest?
It was one of those things right when I got back last year during this recruiting season. They had spotted him. He been around, obviously been over here to see it with Tavon being here, and Coach Hogerson and Shannon had picked him out. So it was one of those things when I got back. Dana was like, hey, that's who I want, so go get him. So it was just a process to where they had already laid some foundation with him. So it was one of those things where I just had to go over there and meet the kid and meet the family, because I knew the school and stuff like that from going over there.
How much did Tavon Austin's success at West Virginia have to do with him liking West Virginia initially? I
would say a lot. Tavon, very big over there, and Coach Hogerson and myself was with him. Tavon last Monday night, he was in Baltimore. We were in Baltimore actually, coming back from Crest's house on Sunday from a home visit. So it was one of those things where Tavon had come over here and been successful, and he liked Gino. So, he saw what Gino had done in this offense. So it was one of those things where, just had to get him over here and recruit him and let him see the things.
Yeah, you see there on the bottom of our screen, another commit has just been made official. Dante Williams, the running back out of Durham, North Carolina, much talked about here. West Virginia has officially announced the signing of Dante Williams. We'll talk about him a little bit later on, and that's got to be putting a very large smile on the face of Juwan Sider right now. You mentioned that William Crest was a fan of Geno Smith. Right. Some have called him young Geno.
Right.
Is that comparison, is it fair? Do you see similarities between the two?
I mean, it's one of those things where, with the high school kids and, they get rated so high, obviously, we want Crest to come over here and be successful, compete, but you never really know.
Sure.
That's one of those things. Geno was, all Big 12, second round draft pick for the Jets, played in the NFL. So Geno's numbers that he put up, the 2 years with Coach Hogerson are crazy numbers. So, I mean, we just want Crest to come over here and be himself. And, he's very talented, but obviously he's going to need some work. So it'd be one of those things, once he gets here this summer, he's got to go to work to, compete for the job.
What physical attributes does he have that makes him an above average quarterback?
I mean, he's big, strong. I mean, he's my height, 6'2", 6'3", 205 pounds, strong, live arm, can run, very athletic quarterback where, things are going these days, being able to extend plays and stuff like that. So, it's going to be, a thing for him to get over here and just get comfortable with what we're trying to do with him. What Coach Hogerson expects of the quarterback to play. I mean, you have to be the leader of the team to play in this offense.
Leadership is huge.
Huge.
And he must have those qualities.
Exactly. I mean, and I think he shows those, so it's going to, I've been telling him, come over here, be yourself, lead. Don't change what you've been doing from high school. They won 3 state championships. And, he's a kid that doesn't really get into a whole lot. He stays to himself, great parents, great family. I think on the home visit there were probably, 25 people, 30 people at the house. So Coach Hogerson and I went over there last Sunday and, just sat there for 2 or 3 hours and we're at home. So it's been great, recruiting him, getting to know the kid.
last season we went through transition with new quarterbacks here,
right.
And one of the big things was, could they get the signals from the sideline quick enough? Could they understand what Dana was trying to do? Is that the biggest challenge that he will face?
I would think so. You know, just the speed of the game. You know, it's the speed of the game. I mean, even though he's highly rated, it's still, you're coming over here to a whole different league, whole different ball game. You know, I mean, he's talented enough, but I mean, you never know. I mean, you never know.
So the issue isn't can he make the throws. He can make every throw out there.
Right.
He can go offside hash to the far sideline. He can make every throw. The issue is now it seems to be a point of total comprehension of
right.
the offense, and at the same time, you know, now you're going to learn how to study film.
Right.
You're going to learn how to study tape. Those are the things you've never.
I mean,
really
those are
been
the
asked
things
to do.
that he'll, you know, have to pick up and learn. But he wants to be, you know, he wants to be the guy. So he'll have a chance to compete. So I mean, that's what you ask for as a kid, rated as high as he is, to come in to compete.
You know, a lot of what I see, what jumps off the film at me, besides all the physical attributes that he has, but he plays with swagger.
Right.
I mean, this guy, he knows what he wants. He knows to go after it, and he's got to come out and just really compete. I really think he is, even though he does need reps and he hasn't had as many passing opportunities, say, other quarterbacks at that level. But I think with that swagger, that leadership and attitude, as you talked about, I think that gives him a great ups for the future.
Oh yeah, I mean, he carries himself, you know, like you would want a quarterback to. You know, not cocky to the point where it's all in your face, but you know, you can feel his presence in the room. So that's what you ask for within a quarterback. You know, come, be yourself, do the things that you know to do. Now we just got to speed it up a little bit and maximize on what we want to get done.
What have you all learned about doing that, speeding the process up? What can you do to make it easier for these younger guys that are going to be given that opportunity?
I mean, you know, with the new rule change now, and we'll be able to spend time with him in the summer. You know, he'll be able to work with Shannon and, you know, Coach Hoverson. So it'll be a thing where the process will get sped up, and just being able to put our hands on them, you know, the summertime with the rule change. So that'll speed the process up. The earlier that he gets here, it'll be a thing to where, you know, the sky's the limit for what he could do and when he could do it. That's the biggest thing.
I think our viewers might find that interesting because there have been rule changes. What can you all do now this coming summer that in the past you have not been able to do?
We'll be able to meet with them, you know, actually be able to meet with them. Still can't go out and coach and stuff like that, but we'll be able to meet, show films, you know, do activities with them in that aspect, which, you know, I think should have been handled a long time ago, you know, because if you look at it, you know, most kids get into trouble in the summertime, you know, when stuff goes bad. So being able to have a presence around during the summer, being able to actively, you know, be engaged with them is very good for us.
How much time? Do you know what it is, Lonnie?
I think it's 8 hours a week.
8 hours a week,
yeah.
which is a ton.
Yeah.
Right, if you
8
spend
hours a
2
week.
hours a day, 4
Yep.
days a week, that'll do it. And I would imagine that will really increase the ability for showing hand signals, showing okay, here I'm calling this. This is what I'm calling
right.
here, right? You can spend all that
right.
time doing.
I mean, that'll be, you know, it'll be a well deserved to get him over here. You know, wish he was here now, but you know, we just told him come, be ready. You know, just be ready. Once you get here, be ready to go.
And you know, folks may remember that Geno Smith never redshirted.
No.
And he got forced into playing here in Morgantown in that Marshall game when you know, there was an injury early in that game, and he stepped up as a freshman. So it can be done.
It can be done. You know, it just, if he's ready, you know, coach told him if he's ready, then, you know, you'll play. You know, the worst thing to do is play a kid that's not ready, especially at that position.
Sure.
Yeah, you're obviously going to have to speed it up, but you cannot push him so that it's going to be detrimental to him
right.
as well. You know, obviously with Ford Childress not being around right now at the time, this does change the attitude. There's got to be a sense of urgency in that quarterback room.
Exactly. I'm just glad I don't coach quarterbacks.
As a former quarterback yourself, tremendous quarterback, during your day, is it doable?
I mean, it depends on the kid. You know, it depends a lot on the kid, on how much they can take, you know, how much they can handle. You know, I don't know. I hope, you know, but you really don't know. I hope. I mean, if he's ready August the 30th against Alabama, then he'll play. If he's not ready, then he won't play.
Let's jump into another of your guys that you brought in with this class, and we haven't spent much time at all yet. We talked about the
right.
physicality of Dewan Funderberg. Safety, 6'1", 180 pounds, out of D.C., Friendship Collegiate Academy. Offers include national champ Florida State, Arizona, Georgia Tech, Miami, Nebraska, Maryland, Tennessee, Wisconsin. You were in there with the big boys on this one as well. Well, as we should. What do you like about him?
Physical kid to come down and strike you. You know, especially with what we do defensively. He will come down and physically try to take your head off. He can run. He's athletic. He's tall. He's long. You know, played at a great program. Coach Raheem does a great job with those guys over there. You know, he has a teammate that's at Florida now. He has a teammate that's at Arizona. I mean, and then they got a couple, 2 or 3 of them in Maryland. So, you know, he plays with and against, you know, top talent week in and week out. But he will come down and strike you.
I watched a couple of these hits right here. We're watching his tape right now. Got a little Carl Joseph in him.
I won't put that on him right
striking.
yet. Yeah, he'll come and hit you, but he'll be a good asset to the back. You know, in the secondary, he'll be a great asset for us to have back there because he's long and he can run. You know, and he likes to hit. So it makes the wideouts think about going across the middle.
You know, Lonnie, with the going in the back, the deep end, you got quarter, half. He can really cover that. He has that ability to cover the whole field.
He really does. Well, if he can do a whole lot for us, and the biggest thing for him is to get over here and get weight on. You know, he's 187, 190 pounds right now, and he'll be 200 pounds, I think, in no time. So it'd be one of those things where just coming over here to get adjusted because with their head coach, Coach Raheem, they do a lot of stuff, defensively, coverage-wise. So it's just going to be getting the terminology down on what we want to do here.
What was it in the end, Lonnie, besides your effervescent personality, that led him to say yes to West Virginia? What did he like?
I mean, just the school-wise, the help and stuff that he will get in the academic department. He felt comfortable over here. He'd been over here 3 times, and he just felt like he needed to go to a place where he was going to get every need that he needed, academically and structure and being close to home.
Mm-hmm.
So, he just felt comfortable with us.
Yeah, it worked. And again, I think this is a good example of kind of us as a program staying within our neighborhood. There are a lot of other schools out there, but it's a long trek. Miami to Nebraska, right? To Wisconsin. I mean, stay closer to these 4 or 5 hour, right? In his case, a little bit shorter than 4 hours, and oftentimes these kids will feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lonnie, good stuff. We appreciate the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On your guys. Oh, well, you know why? I mean, you're right. You pointed down to Sylvester Towns. I didn't bring him up only because. I'm sorry, who? Oh, you want to talk about him?
Yeah, that's my guy too.
That's your guy too. Well, hey, wait a second. Let's make that mark right now. I was going to let Dewan have him, but we'll let you do him as well. Let's talk about it because Dewan did mention that you were there. Dante Williams, the running back that we just announced. So I was going to give it to Dewan since he's going to be his guy. That's all yours. This is a good-looking kid. 205 pounds is what they list him at here on that list. That doesn't look like 205 to me.
He's about 220 when he.
About 220 is what I'm thinking here. Offer list you could see there. It's the who's who. This was a young guy that so many people really were talking about as to which way it was going to go.
Right.
At the end of the day, why was it West Virginia for him?
He felt comfortable over here. It was one of those things where from day one, recruiting the kid, I felt like we did a great job. Being from North Carolina, and then bringing Coach Sider in as position coach, we double teamed the kid and kept everything up front with him. Not trying to pull any wool over his eyes. Having to make sure his mother was comfortable. Who was a big part of the recruiting process, and just letting the kid know what we could do with him, after seeing, what Charles did, because he can run the ball, he can catch. I mean, he's physical. He's the first kid down on the kickoff team. He's that type of player. I mean, he's explosive, great feet. I mean, he's a track kid. I mean, I'd say, 4'4" at least. He's 10'8", 100-meter kid at 210, 15, 20 pounds.
Got special.
I think so. I mean, he's a very I mean, that's what you see right there. You know, the picture that you have up. You know, the big smile. He brightens up the room once you meet him.
How much does that have an effect that you're a North Carolina guy?
You know,
how big of it was it?
Some, you know, just being able to go back home, you know, and let them know, hey, if you come to West Virginia and you feel like you get treated wrong, you know, I got to go back home too. So it's just one of those things where, you know, he felt comfortable with it, and I felt comfortable with it, and you know, that was a good get for us.
Well, I'll tell you what I see on the film is I just couldn't wait to talk about this guy. I mean, he really is absolutely what I'm looking for, what I want to see, a power running back. But then he can run by you just as fast as he can run through you. And, you know, he gives you that limp leg, that juke. You know, he can accelerate right now in the second gear, third gear, or he can stop on a dime. I mean, he's the package, and he's 6 foot 220. That's what's amazing about him. I mean, he really is elusive, but he's also powerful, and he's also fast.
He is all of what you just described. I mean, he's powerful, strong, fast, you know, good kid. I think he's, you know, if he's ready to play, he will help us a lot.
Well, how realistic is it to think that he will be ready to go? I mean, you've seen guys, and you know what it takes to do it at this level. What's he need to do? Come in here and do?
Be able to take a handoff, in my opinion. So, you know, but no, I mean, it's more to it than that. But you know, it'll be one of those things where, you know, I'm sure Coach Sider will try to get the kid ready. You know.
You mentioned how you used Charles Sims when you were talking with him. What was it that he liked about the way that you used Charles Sims?
I mean, it was just one thing that, you know, Coach Sider did for the kid, you know, on the visit, showed him, you know, the power, how we run power, running inside, outside zone, and then being able to move, you know, Charles around and get the ball in his hands that way. So we think Dante's a player that can, you know, do those type of things as far as moving out, running power, you know, pass protecting, because he's a physical kid. I mean, literally, if you watch a lot of his games, he's the first person down on the kickoff team and gets mad when they take him off the kickoff team. I mean, he likes to do that stuff.
So you literally, I mean, it's almost, when you think about it physically, to take a 210, 215-pound back at his size and put him in motion out into a slot, you've got total confidence he'll catch it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, good all-around ball skills. I mean, he's a good
That's
kid.
Pretty unique.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I like this kid a lot.
If you like him a lot, Wolf, I think if he likes him a lot, then I think you and I like him a lot.
I think we sure do.
Because I remember when you said you liked Taylor Austin a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I ain't going to put him in that category, but.
No, and it would be unfair to do that to anybody. But this could, I mean, let's take a look at these offers. Clemson, Duke, Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Minnesota, North Carolina, NC State, Ohio State, South Carolina, Syracuse, UCLA, Vandy, and Virginia Tech. I mean, the mere fact, when you get a kid from Durham, North Carolina, to say no to those three schools in that state, in that triangle, NC State, North Carolina, and Duke, that's a plum for you guys.
I mean, it's a good get, you know. It is a good get, you know, to be able to go down there and get the film and bring him back and, you know, let, you know, Coach Dorchester look at it and be like, hey, Ryan, I think this kid can play. And then let Coach Sider look at it, and we was like, all right, let's go try to get him. You know, so then starting to build a relationship, then, you know, getting Coach Sider involved in it, you know, so it was one of those things where, you know, just, hey, I'm from North Carolina too. Let's see if we can get you up here. So Coach King brought him up. They came up twice, and, you know, he just felt comfortable here.
Great deal. Good deal. Obviously, this offense needs these special playmakers, and Charles Sims was wonderful. Unfortunately, it was only for 1 year,
right.
And so hopefully he'll be the next guy in. And let's face it, inside that recruiting or inside that running backs room, as Dewan was saying earlier on, we've got a lot of guys that have carried the ball a lot. You know, from Russell Shell, who's going to be eligible this coming season, to Wendell Smallwood, who had a very nice first season, with Dustin Garrison and Andrew Bowie. They're both back. Dreamus Smith.
Right.
Okay. Not many, in all seriousness, not many schools in the country have had that many backs take quality reps like those guys have had. Nice problem to have.
Nice problem to have.
I mean, absolutely.
Great problem to have.
You can never have too many. Thanks so much for your time, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Right.